Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phi and this is Money Philosophy. Thank you for coming back for another day of Tesla analysis. Today we will go over the Tesla and Hertz news about Elon's recent tweet that no contract has been signed yet. And I'd like to break that down for you guys. What kind of implication would that tweet have on Tesla as a whole and on the deal in particular? I would also like to take a look at chart analysis as well as options possibilities based on the new tweet and the new information that we just received. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I am a growth stock investor and a trader, and I'd love to share with you my investing and trading journeys. Let's dive right into it, and we will begin with the news from CNBC today.
In his tweet, this is what started all of the sell-off earlier this morning. He wrote, if any of this is based, and he's talking about the move in Tesla's share price, if any of this is based on Hertz, I'd like to emphasize that no contract has been signed yet. Tesla has far more demand than production. Therefore, we will only sell cars to Hertz for the same margin as to consumers. Hertz deal has zero effect on our economics.
Before we talk about the validity or lack thereof of the contract in question, let's take a moment to talk about the deal between Hertz and Tesla. Now, Hertz sees an opportunity with EVs eating the lunch of ICE vehicles, so it wants to capitalize on the large market of either millennial drivers or Tesla fan club or both. This is a once-in-a-century opportunity to be one of the first to transform its entire fleet to EVs, even though at 100,000 cars, it has not transformed its entire fleet. It is clearly tracking in that direction. While other car companies continue to order other brands and ICE vehicles, Hertz chose Tesla, publicly announced such, and proceeded with an advertising campaign to show that off. It is brilliant for a number of reasons. First, millennial car renters who are already driving Tesla, which is increasing by the day, will appreciate renting a Tesla on their travel, whether it's business or personal. Number two is younger Tesla supporters who will be growing old with Tesla EVs will be also growing old with Hertz if it start building loyalty now. Three is that EVs will flood the transportation industry and Hertz will take the biggest market share of EV car renters as it is the first to market. And lastly, drivers who want to have easy access to charging station across the nation, they will choose Tesla, which Hertz has to offer. And so for all intents and purposes, this deal is major in Hertz history. Hertz chooses to ride on the coattail of Tesla, both its reputation and quality, instead of fighting it and supporting the ICE car makers, which it knows would be out of business in a decade or less. The magnitude of this deal is huge for Hertz, but more importantly, the implications of it is revolutionary. So think about Enterprise, Avis, Thrifty, and other car rental companies. They will be forced to look into EV. They would be falling behind if they don't, and they would not be as relevant as Hertz in a few years' time. The more Tesla can penetrate the market and take a bigger share of the pie, the more rental car companies will flood Tesla with orders, and this is just the beginning. Now, as for Tesla, it has the capacity constraint. Hertz order 100,000 Model 3 just meant that Tesla now has 100,000 less Model 3 to deliver to the public, whether now or 2022. Elon wasn't wrong in saying that the deal has zero economics to Tesla, because if it weren't for Hertz, it would be either retail car owners or other business orders, and that 100,000 cars, to the extent that Tesla can make it, would be gone. Tesla's sole mission is to produce as many cars as it can, regardless of who orders. In 2022, Tesla is projected to deliver between 1.3 to 1.8 million EVs. So 100,000 EVs is less than 10% of its volume. So of course Tesla wouldn't care as much. However, the fact that a rental car company placed an order of this magnitude with a national advertising campaign and open to even more orders from Tesla is revolutionary for the EV industry. Now, back to the contract. As a corporate attorney who used to work in-house for a manufacturer, I can tell you that a contract is a matter of formality. By now, for Hertz to announce the deal, all the commercial terms are already agreed upon. Commercial terms are volume, selling or purchasing price, color, timeline of delivery, location of delivery, whether these cars would have FSD add-on or not. The attorneys, however, on both sides will take weeks, if not months, to finalize the legal terms of the agreement, such as indemnification, liquidated damage, subrogation, limited liability, and so on and so forth. Even though most corporations don't execute on a handshake deal because a lot can go sideways during execution, I'm positive Tesla already has a few point persons, if not a full-blown task force, working on the Hertz project to ensure proper and smooth delivery of vehicles to Hertz. After all, that is 100,000 cars that it could sell to a single business. It's great to at least have a few people that are point persons that are in charge of both the operation, manufacturing, and customer service related to the Hertz project. After all, the deal is in the bag for Hertz to announce unless it meets leads investor, which I don't think that is the case. Hertz recently announced restructuring and bankruptcy. It wouldn't be so naive to announce something that misled investor without any evidence to support that. Now, the question is when the deal would be signed and not if. So are you ready for another tweet in a couple of weeks or months when that deal is inked, or by then is completely irrelevant and Tesla would have already gone to the moon? Or would you choose to buy on the dip and know that the way the contracts work, it wouldn't be signed right away, but that does not have any validity whatsoever on both Tesla fundamental and the economics of the deal? If you are a reasonable investor, you would be buying the dip knowing that the deal is already in the bag, and whatever formality that is irrelevant at this point. Of course, Elon Musk will choose to downplay the effect of it because he has a fiduciary obligation to the shareholders and to caution all of us that, hey, it might not be all that glorious because the deal is not signed, but knowing how the system works with contracts and both parties entering into agreement, I don't think his comment holds as much weight other than cautionary note for shareholders, which is wise and prudent, and in the process create a buying opportunity, and I'm all for it. This is definitely Elon just handed to us shareholders, and shareholders want to be a wonderful opportunity to buy this morning, and I hope you all capitalized on that. Now back to technical analysis here. We will start with the daily chart. The market is just closed and Tesla ended today at $1,171, down slightly over 3% from yesterday. The daily candles still look very good to me. It is an inside bar and it looks to be the first consolidation candle, hopefully the first of a few, so that we have more opportunity to buy, so that premium for options would calm down a little bit, but you never know, right? But for all intents and purposes, this is not a bearish candle. A couple of you asked me if we should be shorting Tesla at this point. Based on this price action right here, I don't think it's time to short Tesla yet. And again, for those of you who are new to my channel, I'll be very clear up front. I am a Tesla bull. That said, I do leverage the use of options to hypercharge my portfolio, whether that's call options or put options. So of course, right now I'm looking for an opportunity to enter any type of options, whether call or put, but I don't think that it is time to enter a put option yet. If anything, it's probably a better time to enter call options, given that Tesla has retraced a little bit, but I think there might be another opportunity tomorrow or the day after. The volume was 171%, which is pretty significant. The height of the day today, Tesla briefly touched the all-time high and then retraced. Let's also take a look at the hourly chart. So the pivot point for today on the upper end was $1,270. Admittedly, Tesla never got there. The middle pivot point was $1,180 and the bottom pivot point was $1,147. And so if you notice that Tesla did touch the bottom pivot point this morning. The trading range for tomorrow would be on the upper end, 1238. Middle pivot point 1175 and the bottom pivot point would be 1143. If you were to capitalize on the gap trade this morning, you probably would have done well. So let me go down to the 5-minute chart here. So when Tesla opened, it opened at around 1159, and by the way, I did buy a few shares at 1160 right at open. I did have another order for 1140, but it never get to 1140. I think the lowest was about 1146, so I kind of missed out on the second batch that I wanted to buy there, but that's okay. You can see that when Tesla opened, it had a significant gap down. So it ended the day on, yesterday at 1209, and it opened the day today at 1160, give or take. So that is about $49 gap down, and then it proceeded to go all the way down to below 1147, and then it reversed, right? So if you understand the opening gap play, it would have been very powerful. You could have taken a trade within the first 5 minutes, whether up here somewhere or down here when Tesla reached the bottom, and then proceeded to see Tesla virtually close the gap. Tesla briefly touched the price that it closed yesterday and close the gap for a little bit and start retracing back. So these 3 5-minute candle here would have been powerful for a gap play. I did capitalize on the opportunity. I think I entered right around 1150, give or take, but then I exit right at the pivot line here, which is 1180. Needless to say, Tesla continued to go up some more, and I could have held, but like I said, pivot lines are usually my guiding principles, so I didn't want to deviate from my plan and leaving some money on the table. But it was a good day trade, so I take a win when I can and move on. So back to the hourly chart here, Tesla seems to be just consolidating today, and if it does go back up tomorrow, I expect that it would hit around 1238. It probably would hit 1208, which was the previous high first, and then 1238. Where do we go from here when it comes to trading? I still wouldn't short Tesla at this point. Will I buy call options in Tesla? Well, I think it depends on a number of factors. If tomorrow Tesla gaps down, meaning that it would open substantially below 1171, say it would open at 1160 or below, I think that's a good opportunity to purchase a call option and hold on to it for a little bit and see where it will go, right? If Tesla opens right at this pivot line, 1142, which is $30 gap down, which is probably highly unlikely at this point. But for whatever reason, if it opens at the bottom pivot point here, I think a day trade would be profitable. If Tesla opens with a gap up near the upper pivot line, I wouldn't do call for that matter. I wouldn't short Tesla or buying a put option at this point. As I mentioned time and again, it is a little bit tricky for me to short Tesla, especially overall daily trend. The stock is still pretty bullish. If for whatever reason Tesla falls down to either 1119 or 1100, I think that would be a good point to enter a longer term options, probably a few months out for 1300 or above. Because I do think that would be pretty optimal at that point. Now, if Tesla for some reason touch 1044, which I don't think so, that would be over $120 down. But if it does reach there, that will be the awesome opportunity to enter a call option for a longer term as well. So if you are a trader, you probably want to decide for yourself whether you want to be a day trader or a swing trader tomorrow. If you are a day trader, I think the opening gap, if any at all, would be relatively profitable depending on your entry and exit point. If you are a swing trader, I would lean toward call options, and I would wait for the time for Tesla to dip in order to buy that call option. So given the price action for today, let's go back to the daily chart here. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla tried to retest this wick here that it created on Monday. There's a tiny little bit of a gap here from 1113 to 1119 that wasn't filled. If it does fill that gap and go back down to 1113, I think that's an excellent opportunity to enter call options. So it all depends on what the price action looks like tomorrow. Now, if Tesla gaps up, retrace a little bit and then go to the moon, then I would just sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of my portfolio being green. For being a Tesla shareholder, I wouldn't enter call options because once again, I would enter call options when Tesla retrace in a significant way, because that would be because that would deflate call option premium a lot and would allow me better chance of success. Because I have a ton of Tesla shares, I don't necessarily have a huge urge for continuously enter call options at the risk of losing a bunch of money, right? So I would just be waiting for the right opportunity. I would love to hear your thoughts on the contract as well as the potential options trading. I also would love to know how many of you are Tesla shareholders versus traders. I know my channel has a lot of traders, but I know quite a few of you are loyal Tesla fans and investors just like myself. So I'd love to know who you are if you haven't already commented in the past. And other than that, I appreciate your support for the channel. And until the next video, bye.